bring his ass to this ring. Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, why the heck not? WB Ward back with you once again.
And I'm Chip Douglas.
And we got another episode of SCI Wrestling inside of a computer near you. Lots of movers and shakers this week in pro wrestling, would you not say?
Oh, absolutely. Interesting week of professional wrestling.
It has been. It has been indeed. I think even for a non-fan, even a non-fan may find this this week rather... entertaining, shall we say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen a lot of buzz about it, but what are your feelings on this story angle between Stephanie McMahon and the Bellas?
I love it.
I do too, and I'm surprised that I do, because it wasn't that long ago her dad was doing the exact same thing.
Right. It's like the female version of McMahon Austin.
Yeah, and really I thought for a second they were going to do something with Triple H smacking the padoodles out of Brie Bella. Ooh. I'm glad they didn't, because I think that would have caused the kind of firestorm they really don't want.
Absolutely.
But I'm liking that. Stephanie is one of the best microphone workers I've seen, and I am so impressed with her.
She's come leaps and bounds from where she used to be. And I think, what I still love is Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's character is incredible.
Oh, yes.
So cut from that same kind of cloth. She's very good with the mic.
So why isn't Triple H any better?
I like Triple H.
Well, he's not, he's okay. I like him too, but he just doesn't seem to be to that level.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, for me.
The only thing I don't like about Triple H promos is the fact how long they are.
Oh, man. These are sagas.
You have a 20-minute segment all about him talking about whatever he talks about. And
it's funny you should mention that, because I compiled some interesting statistics this week, and you and I are going to go over this here in just a minute.
Okay.
But right now, as I understand, I think it's going to be time to get dramatic here. I didn't ask if you were ready for this.
I have no idea what's going on.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Scratch your butt.
0. What time is it, kid?
Yeah.
It's the Queen of the League.
Oh, okay.
And there's a sports guy that I think stole our idea.
What?
He stole our idea.
How's that? I mean, is he using that?
He's using the Michael Jackson theme.
Oh, what a doofus.
I was like, really? I was like,
he's probably
listen to our show.
He's probably one of these guys where the only original thing he's ever made was left swirling in a toilet.
Don't make me cough.
Yeah, you don't sound like you feel too well.
A little under the weather.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so before we forget about it, what is the tweet of the week?
It's brought to you by WBE Creative Humor, one of our favorites. Given the success of Batista's Guardians of the Galaxy, you must be hungry for WBE films. Enjoy this Marine marathon.
Oh, absolutely. How many movies has he made?
Who, Batista?
Batista, yeah. I don't think he's really made that many.
I think it's the second one.
They talk about that like he's been doing it since Cecil B. DeMille was making movies.
No.
And he really hasn't.
No. And I have not seen the movie. I heard it's fantastic, but I have not seen it yet.
Really?
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy?
Whenever I hear of a pro wrestler doing a movie and he's one of the billed stars for it, all due respect to the WWE movies and people like John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and things like this. But I really think, okay, how good can this really be?
He's surrounded by very good actors, and his role is very, very dry. So it kind of fits it perfectly, actually.
Well, okay.
And there's actually rumors about him actually coming back to wrestling too after all this.
I wonder if he would come back to WWE.
Yeah. He wants to have one retirement match like at WrestleMania.
Right.
A lot of rumors are with Triple H.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. The last time he came back didn't go over so hot, so I guess they could try again.
Well, they had a lot of things going on that kind of interfered with his appearance that there's no way the scriptwriters could have possibly have known.
Never.
Well, with SummerSlam coming up exactly 1 week from tonight, let's take a look at this week's countdown.
Number 10.
Although dropping a couple of rungs in this week's countdown, the Divas champion holds strong in the top 10 as she continues to look in top form after defeating Summer Rae on WWE Main Event.
Number 9.
The WWE Tag Team Champions drop a couple of spots to number 9 after a week of inaction. Staying at or near the top 10 may become in question if the pair isn't seen in action in the squared circle soon.
Number 8.
The Celtic Warrior returned to action this week with an impressive victory over Titus O'Neil on WWE Superstars.
Number 7.
Chris Jericho makes a 3-position jump from last week following a disqualification victory over Luke Harper on Raw that evens the odds for Y2J in his SummerSlam match against Bray Wyatt.
Number 6.
The Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, has made it clear he intends to bring the pain in his WWE World Heavyweight Championship match against John Cena at SummerSlam. We were listening, but was the champ?
Number 5.
Mr. Money in the Bank stays in the middle of the countdown after a rough week that saw him lose to Heath Slater on Raw while watching his briefcase get ruined by Dean Ambrose.
Number 4.
Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
Randy Orton remains at the number 4 spot after his match against Dean Ambrose on SmackDown ended in a no contest. The question remains, when will the Viper strike next?
Number 3.
Despite a week of in-ring inactivity, John Cena remains steady in the 3rd place. Still, we have to wonder if the WWE World Heavyweight Champion will be able to hold off Brock Lesnar's forthcoming physical onslaught at SummerSlam.
Number 2.
Roman Reigns survived a last man standing match against Kane on Raw. This victory gave assurance to the black-clad superstar to hold on to the 2nd position for the 2nd straight week. And now, with this week's climb to the top of the chart,
Number 1.
After an impressive victory over former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio on Raw, Dean Ambrose remains at the top of the mountain. With the Lunatic Fringe choosing a lumberjack match for a SummerSlam showdown against Seth Rollins, the maniacal superstar seems to have his former Shield brother right where he wants him. That's this week's SCI Top 10 PowerPoints. And thus sets the stage for one, I think, exciting SummerSlam.
It's coming fast, a whole lot faster than I kind of anticipated.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I was coughing.
I'm surprised how fast it's come. I mean, I was still thinking it's weeks away.
It is. It is right upon us. 1 week from tonight, it's going to be emanating from the City of the Angels, Los Angeles. Tickets are still available, starting at, believe it or not, $25.
Really?
That's not bad for a pay-per-view event.
Not bad.
And of course, the row where you sit, everybody along that row will be suffering from vicious nosebleeds because of the altitude. But other than that, it should be a dynamite performance. Now, in the countdown, of course, I had to refer to Alberto Del Rio as being a former WWE superstar. Last week, we announced, of course, that Ricardo Rodriguez was sent happily along his way. This week, however, we do have to bid a fond farewell to Sir Alberto Del Rio. So, Albert, we wish you happy trails, bright sunshines, and brilliant, dazzling full moons. So, young man, please take heart.
Vaya con Dios, my darling.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
By the way, as a musician, you're going to appreciate who that is.
Is it Patsy Cline?
No, that's Mary Ford singing, and the person playing guitar is none other than the one and only Les Paul.
Oh,
that is Les Paul
right.
playing.
I didn't know that.
But did you notice anything unusual about this release of Alberto Del Rio?
Besides the timing of it and the reasoning, no.
Well, the reasoning.
Yeah,
the reasoning.
was
I mean,
odd.
how many times have you ever seen, ever, on WWE.com, when they release a superstar, how many times have you ever seen them give a reason?
They never do.
Exactly. They always say something like, we wish them all the best in their future endeavors, and that's usually all they'll say. That's just what any company would say.
Right.
Why this time they are being much more specific? They're actually saying that he was abusive to somebody.
And I think it's more of they're setting a tone. I think it has a lot to do with that.
I think they're setting a storyline.
I don't think so. So
Well-
you don't think? So you think he actually wasn't fired?
I do have to question that, because first off, from a legal standpoint, the very reason why companies do what we were just talking about we wish you well on your future endeavors, is because it doesn't pin them into a corner where a person can come back and sue saying, hey, you said this about me and it's not true. I'm suing you now for $multi-million.
But
That's why they don't do that to begin with.
But they know it's true.
Even though it is true, yes. Now, this case tells me one of two things. Either A, it's part of a storyline, or B, there were so many witnesses to the event that there's just no point in even arguing it.
Right.
That could be, and undoubtedly the wording of what they posted on Twitter and on their website probably went through God knows how many different attorneys before it was approved.
Absolutely.
But you have to admit that is the first time I think I've ever seen that. And there's actually a third reason why I'm thinking it could be a storyline. You've worked for large corporations before.
Yes.
Is it okay if I name one of them that you worked for in the
fine.
past?
That's fine.
Okay, Guitar Center.
Yes.
You were a salesperson for Guitar Center.
Right.
When you left Guitar Center, how expensive was it for Guitar Center to replace you?
Not expensive at all.
No, they just hire a new employee.
Right.
Can you imagine the expense WWE goes through when they let go of somebody?
Whew.
Particularly somebody like Alberto Del Rio with all
Right.
the merchandising and all the storylines they have to rewrite at the last minute. And I mean, it's a major thing. Like I was watching SmackDown on Friday, and one of the first things that hit me is, oh my gosh, the production crew now has to go back and re-edit the opening of this because it featured Alberto Del Rio, and I think Raw does too.
Right.
So they have to go back in and do an awful lot of work. They have to remove them from the websites. They're going to have to take them off WWE.com. They're going to have to take them off of all the rosters. They're going to have to take them off all the cards and try to keep the current storylines as continuous as possible.
But they don't have to pay him.
That's true. If indeed he has been fired.
Right.
That's the only other thing. That's the only other reason why I'm thinking, okay, this might be a subtle introduction of another storyline.
I don't know. I don't
It
know.
could
I
be.
just, it's hard for me to see. Where would the storyline go?
I don't
Is he
know.
gonna
You know,
feud
coming
with the
back,
social
maybe
media manager.
Maybe coming back and demanding a public apology in ring to the social media manager whom he allegedly slapped.
I don't know. I think to me, it's WBE putting their foot down. There probably were a lot of witnesses of it,
To that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
and so they're doing this kind of to flex their muscles and say, hey, we're not going to put up with this type of abuse, no matter what the guy said, because apparently the social media manager made a racist comment towards Alberto Del Rio.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Which is the reason why Alberto Del Rio slapped him in the first place. It isn't, and apparently Alberto Del Rio tracked this person down because he heard about it and found the guy, and I guess the guy laughed in Del Rio's face.
Now, how sure are you it was the social media manager and not Zeb Coulter?
I'm just going based off.
No,
report.
I know,
Yeah, I don't know that for a fact.
I'm sure it was the social media manager.
If it was Zeb Coulter, then I can probably guarantee you it'd be a storyline.
Yes. Speaking of Mr. Coulter, you know, SmackDown was in a city that I used to live in, Laredo, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Did you notice that Zeb Coulter and
Swagger?
were noticeably absent?
I didn't notice that.
You know why, don't you?
Well, I know it's a large is it Latino?
Oh, yeah,
Mexican,
Latino, Mexican,
yeah,
or
yeah.
Texican, actually, is
Yeah.
how it's referred to down there.
Because I think it's right there by the border, right?
It's right on the border, yeah.
Okay.
It's right on the Rio Grande. And right across the border is Nuevo Laredo, where actually is where I lived. But can you
You
guess?
live in Mexico?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Can you guess why Zeb Coulter and Swagger were not on that card?
I don't know.
Given his character, they're trying to push them both as a face.
Right.
Given his character, there's no way he'd go over as a face in Laredo, Texas.
That's probably true.
Absolutely no way.
I heard, now I miss SmackDown. But I heard that Kane took off his mask again.
Yeah, he went through that. Yeah, he got beat in the last man standing match, as we heard in that wonderfully produced countdown earlier.
That was very good, by the way.
Thank you. And the next shot, when they came back from a commercial break, was him going into the McMahons with his head hung low, takes off his mask, hands it and the wig, and hands it to Stephanie, and he walks out. Again,
that's what I don't get.
they just did that.
And they act like it's some kind of big surprise. It's like, oh my gosh, Kate took off his mask. In fact, I had someone at work come up to me, and they go, "Oh, did you see Kate take off his mask?" And I go, "No, but I've seen it probably about 9 times beforehand. In fact, I think I saw it this past year."
And he's one of the people that really need to keep the mask on.
He's not a good-looking guy.
He really does. But it makes me wonder what they're going to be doing with his character, because we haven't seen any we wish him well in his future endeavor announcements towards Kane.
Yeah, is he going back to corporate Kane again, or?
Well, they repeated the taking the mask off so quick. I don't know. Maybe they're going to take him through some kind of courses, because earlier, they had him in the anger management courses with Daniel Bryan.
Right.
Maybe they'll take him through some confidence building courses now.
Oh, who knows?
That could make that might make an interesting storyline.
I wouldn't mind that.
Last Monday night on Raw, I did something that I always wanted to do.
What's that?
I sat with a stopwatch and meticulously timed every single match.
Okay.
Because I was curious about this. Now, Monday Night Raw, it's billed as a 3-hour show.
Right.
Actually, it's 3 hours, 12 minutes long.
Okay.
For a total of 192 minutes. Would you be surprised if I told you that out of 192 minutes, only 100 minutes are actual wrestling? 92 minutes are just everything else.
Like commercials,
gags, promos. 90 minutes worth.
So an hour and a half
Yeah.
on a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you believe that?
Wow.
It's totally false,
Oh.
because it's not nearly that much.
What?
It is nowhere near that. As a matter of fact, if I said all you had was an hour of wrestling, that would not be true either, because it was not near that. From bell to bell time. I started it precisely when the bell rang to start the match. I stopped it precisely when the bell rang to end the match. And I added them up using a time calculator, because you have to use a different type of addition to add times up, since it's not using the 10 system. Out of 3 hours and 12 minutes, last Monday night's Raw featured only 41 minutes and 39 seconds of actual wrestling.
Wow.
Only 40 minutes.
I wish you were able to break it down even more to like how much was talk, how much was commercials.
The commercials. Now the commercials, that would have been very difficult, because the show itself is a commercial.
Right.
All the promos would have to be called commercials. Especially now that they're adding in the $9.99 bit.
Oh yeah.
And when they're coming up, and for only $9.99, and they're really pushing that, just about any time they're not actually in a match, it's a commercial. As a matter of fact, a lot of people may not be aware of this, but all of my fellow broadcasters will understand that before the divestiture of the FCC, the WWE, Raw, and SmackDown, and all the other live performances as they are done now would have been illegal to have broadcast back in the 90s.
Really?
Because of the fact it was all commercial material. Before the FCC started lifting their regulations and stuff, the FCC actually made it a crime for stations to broadcast more than 8 minutes of commercial time an hour. That law is completely gone. So broadcast companies no longer have to abide by that, and now radio stations will feature as much as 18 to 20 minutes of commercial time an hour. And look at how much time is left over from this edition of Raw of everything else that would be considered commercial time, be it for themselves or for paid advertisers. Either one would account to more than 2 hours.
Jeez.
Out of a 3-hour block.
And that's why I DVR it.
Yeah, and folks, I have 2 words for you. Fast forward.
That's my favorite button. About every Tuesday or Monday night when I watch Raw, because usually if I watch it Monday night, it's going to be basically after the show's already over, or I'm like an hour behind. So I can't be on social media, because then I know I'll know what's going on. When I live,
when I did this little experiment, what I was expecting to see the wrestling hit at least an hour. I was expecting that. I was really shocked when I added it up and it only came to 41 minutes
41
39.
minutes.
And by the way, I quadruple checked every one of my figures.
Oh, that's a good thing.
I quadruple checked everything because that was so low. That was such a low amount. I thought, no, I had to have made a mistake on that. But I got to tell you, that it's absolutely impossible for that amount of time to be an incorrect statement. It's impossible.
And that's why they're World Wrestling Entertainment.
That's true. No, and I won't argue that. That's absolutely a good point, because I was thinking that when I was doing this, because I thought, okay, they are entertainment. They don't even bill themselves as being professional wrestling anymore.
Right.
That is really not what their mainstay is. Their mainstay is the entertainment portion.
Right.
So I do have to cut them a lot of slack there. Even still, I would like to see a little bit more action than that. That is less than 1/3. That is closer to 1/6 of the total amount of time, if I'm doing the math right in my head. That just amazed me. 41 minutes 39 seconds out of 192 minutes. Just that's it.
So in that 41 minutes, did anything from Raw kind of stand out to you?
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Not a damn thing. I can remember how long it took. But no, I just thought that was an interesting observation.
Wow.
Now I'm going to wait about 6 months. I'll probably do that again.
See where
because
it's at.
because that was just off of one show.
Right.
And since they did end that Monday Night Raw, and incidentally, the things on that show that I can remember, none of it had to do with wrestling.
Right.
They were all promos, like for instance the contract signing with the Bellas at the end of the show with Stephanie McMahon. I was absolutely agog over that.
Who would have thought that would end the show?
I know, right? I think that's the first contract signing, because the contract signing is going to erupt in somebody having a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a given. This one was kind of interesting. Oh, I forgot to do our commercial earlier.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
No biggie.
Buy a car from Nelson Mazda, ask for John Bunting.
There you go.
There we go. I just happened to look down and saw the card, and I thought,
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Now,
Help it rain.
some other news in the wrestling business.
oh, wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
Where are we going?
Well, no, I was going to do something, but I've already unplugged some stuff here.
Okay, all right. Someone is prepping
Yes.
themselves for one more match.
Someone's prepping themselves for one more match?
One more match in WBE.
One more match. Hang on. One more match. One more match. Something tells me I should know this. What? Okay, what? Give.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, are you talking about for his birthday on Monday?
No, he's just right now he's training
Oh, okay.
to get back in wrestling shape, so that way he can do one more physically do one more match.
Well, if that's the case, they're going to probably use Monday night to start the storyline on it.
I don't know about that. It'll be interesting when they do it. But apparently it's John Cena that he wants. He wants to do one match with John Cena.
Possible after John Cena goes heel?
Ooh.
Because, Cena kind of lifted his skirt a little bit a couple of weeks ago on Twitter.
Yeah, heck, I was on here reading. I was one that read it.
Yep.
Man, would that be interesting?
It sure would. I don't know that. I don't know. All respect to Terry Bollea, but you think he still has it?
I mean,
this is.
Let's face facts. He never was a good performer.
No, and you add to that. I mean, the ring rust has to be phenomenal right now.
Right. I think Cena could carry him. You look back at WrestleMania, I think it's WrestleMania 20, where they had The Rock and Hogan, and no one thought that Hogan could keep up with The Rock at that point, because The Rock was at his prime right there in the heat of his rise, and for Hogan to go out there and put on a good show. I mean, The Rock carried him a lot.
That's true.
But Hogan did well. He did really well. The only thing that really stood out to me that Hogan had a tough time with is when he faced Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam. I think it might have been the same year. I'm not for sure, but Shawn Michaels didn't want to lose to Hulk Hogan, so he made everything look ridiculous, like over the top selling. Like if you go YouTube and just watch highlights of Hogan versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam, you would be you'd be shocked about how much he oversold stuff. I mean, he did it all on purpose. Because the fact that he really didn't want to lose to Hulk Hogan. He didn't see a reason.
Wow. You know, when you start looking at longevity, and forgive me, this is going to sound like I'm really going down a different road here than what you're on, but I'm closer to it than what you think.
Okay.
When you look at longevity, you got people like Hulk Hogan, but of all the people you know personally, Chip, probably all of them, if not most of them, are employed. Would you say that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What would you say would be the percentage of the people you know who have been at their job for more than, let's say, 15 years?
Well, that's a tough question.
That'd be kind of a smaller percentage.
Right, absolutely.
And if you started asking about longer times than that, it'd be even less. Now, as you know, I have a radio background. When I was in radio, the average lifespan of anybody's job in that business was only 6 months, because at that time, your job was all predicated on ratings, which came out every 6 months. So the average lifespan of anybody at one radio station was only 6 months. Now, I felt fortunate because my average stay at a radio station was like 5 years.
Right.
So I think I beat the odds pretty good. The only reason why I'm bringing that up is because people like Hulk Hogan, who have been around for for decades, they really show a lot of longevity. And when I was thinking about this, when I recorded this countdown this morning, out of that top 10, 50% of them have been with that company for no less than 10 years. As a matter of fact, today is the 15-year anniversary of the appearance of Chris Jericho.
Wow.
When he came on with that big Millennium Countdown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, it really speaks a lot to WWE. To have wrestlers, performers in any kind of entertainment, be it professional wrestling, movies, radio stations, television stations, or whatever, to have that many people who have had that many years with one single company, that says a lot for the company.
Oh, yeah.
That speaks very highly of them. So as much as we slam them from time to time, I got to admit, they got to be doing something right to keep talent that long. Because, look at this. Wasn't Sheamus, hasn't he been there at least 10 years?
No, he hasn't.
I thought he had been there a while longer. How long would you say?
I'd say maybe going on 5 years now.
Okay, well, definitely there was 4 people out of the top 10 there. Chris Jericho's definitely been there for 10 years.
Yep, John Cena.
I know Brock Lesnar has been there for a long time. John Cena, Randy Orton. So that would be the 4 that I was talking about then. How long had Alberto Del Rio been there?
Just probably about the same amount of time as Sheamus.
Yeah, that's right. He would have came aboard about the same time. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less.
But that does speak an awful lot for the for the company in general to keep people that long. Stephanie literally has been there all of her life.
Oh, yeah.
Triple H, whom has been surprisingly absent from this countdown.
Well, because he's not wrestling.
But he's definitely made some in-ring chops.
That's true.
And what you want to bet after SummerSlam, you're going to start seeing him in ring action a little bit more often.
We'll see. I'm surprised he's not on the SummerSlam card itself.
I am too. I am too, because I think we can see a Roman Reigns and Triple H match in the future.
And I really thought it was going to be SummerSlam, but the Randy Orton thing.
Well, it's not too late though, because the Usos are not even scheduled for SummerSlam yet, and I don't know how they can do that without having a tag team title match.
Oh, you got to.
They're not scheduled yet, are they?
No, not to my knowledge.
I'm surprised we didn't do a prediction show.
Well, we got next week.
Well, yeah, we'll do the last minute predictions.
Yeah, last minute.
We can wait until the show's over with and then do our predictions and claim we were right.
That's true.
People who listen to the podcast 6 months from now think, damn, those guys are good. That's one way to do it. Man, quick 30 minutes. This seems to get quicker each and every week that we do this.
Yep.
Covered, and we had, what's funny is during our show, we have more program content in 30 minutes than Monday Night Raw had in 3 hours.
That's true.
So
that's a good theory. Good statistic there.
And I only said one sentence in a commercial, so we've got to do something somewhere in there. But I think we can beat the WWE on that one.
I agree.
That wraps it up for another week. Be sure to join us next week for our prediction show for SummerSlam as we give you our countdowns, our predictions, and our takes on what's going to happen on next week's pay-per-view. So join us next week right here for another edition of this little show that we call SCI.